Trump must also come to Africa. It's not a one-way street that all the African heads of state should be streaming to the United States. He too must come to Africa. But are we even demanding that? I'm getting a lot of grief sometimes when I talk about President Trump and dismantling USAID. Africans are saying, but Ambassador, we were getting aid and they were helping us. Really? Do you understand what a gift it is to Africa? When President Trump pulled USAID, a lot of the nefarious activities were being carried out through USAID. When President Trump says, let's get rid of the United Nations, hey, now you're talking. When he says, let's get rid of WTO, let's get rid of World Health Organization, now we are talking. Let's not get caught up in the bravado. Let's not jump on the bandwagon. There is a whole lot going on the world stage. Let's cherry pick that which works for us. And as far as dismantling of those institutions which were created after the Second World War, let's sit back and enjoy the show. They all must be dismantled and new ones must be created that are more responsive, truly representative of the global community, not just a few countries. So yes, there are domestic issues they have to deal with in the US. But for those of you out here, look to the global issues. What works for you and what does not work for you. The moment we're in is a new game which is calling for new rules of engagement. If this was a basketball game, I will be asking the African leaders to call for timeout. They need to go to the sidelines and re-strategize. It's a new game that's calling for new rules of engagement. And this is where you young people come in. Back in the 1950s and 60s, as African countries were getting their independence, so to speak, from the colonizers, some countries had it a little easy. They didn't have to fight. But there are many others like Zimbabwe, South Africa, Namibia, Mozambique, Angola, Algeria, many others. They had to fight. And I remember as a young woman, 15 years of age at a boarding school, every morning would wake up and, two boys have disappeared. Young men, some as young as 14. They understood that there was something terribly wrong going on in their countries. I'm talking apartheid. So at a young, tender age, they gave it all up. They risked their own lives. They knew if I walked in this direction, I shall run into a country called Mozambique. They are sympathetic to my cause. I shall go learn how to fight, come back with a gun and fight to the bitter end for what I believe in. So it is. Many young men left. They joined the guerrilla warfare. I still remember as a young person we were thinking defeating Ian Smith in Zimbabwe was mission impossible. Ian Smith himself would boom in the radio and television. Zimbabwe, Rhodesia at that time, will never see black rule, not in his lifetime, not in a million years. The mountain was too steep to climb. But that did not deter those young men and women who believed in what can be done when we come together with one purpose, one mission in mind, and work in a selfless manner, do or die. But that wrong had to be righted. It is that spirit that gave us the independent nations that we see today. They gave us political liberation. What we never received was economic liberation. And now, that ball is in your court. You can't expect those who gave us political liberation to also give us economic liberation. What sacrifices are you ready to make to deliver economic liberation for Africa? In your case, you no longer have to risk your life. You no longer have to carry a gun. You just have to be smart. You just have to heal yourself from the legacy of colonization. You guys have to rid yourself, if you are across the waters, you got to rid yourself of the legacy of slavery. So when that NGO comes to you, wants to give you trinkets so you can go to America, give you trinkets so you can go to Europe, well, you know what? If you have to go, go, but don't lose your head. Know who you are. Know where home is. Refuse to be used as an instrument of your own self-destruction. That is the biggest problem we have in Africa today. You have people who are in government as we speak, who are on payrolls of foreign nations. Why are you betraying your country to this degree? The ball is in our court. As your elders, together with you young people, I do know that with your intelligence and your energy, and we work together, a little bit of wisdom from us, we got this. The most powerful, richest continent on earth can no longer continue to be treated like 10th class citizens. We have to get off the position of feeling inferior or being told we're not good. We have to stop being afraid. When I was in Washington and I traveled, it was sickening to see how scared our ministers would be sometimes. How scared the ambassadors were at times. What are you afraid of? These are other men that go to the bathroom and take off their pants just like you do. What are you afraid of? Why can't you look them in the face and tell them like it is? When they are out of line, call them out. You should never be intimidated because you know where you come from. I had a young man who was kind of dark in complexion. He came home and told his mother, he said, "Mom, my friends are laughing at me. They said they don't see me coming until I smile or open my eyes." So the mother was with her aunt, and she said, "Oh, do you know they're very jealous of you?" I said, "First of all, you are that color because you are well done. You are done well. Secondly, you have something called melanin. They don't have it. They're so jealous of you because they want to have it, but they don't have it. That's why they go to the sunning bed to try and get some melanin. You don't have to because yours is natural. They're jealous of you." So it is that young people, our work is in our hands. It's not going to be easy. Reclaiming our economic liberation. If I may leave you with one word, I'm asking all of you to have a serious conversation with the image in the mirror. Because the healing that we desire starts with the mind. For that is where we were destroyed the most. I have 3 quotes to leave with you. The day will come when history will speak. Africa will write its own history. It will be a history of glory and dignity. This was Patrice Lumumba. Coming from the Caribbean, Marcus Garvey said, "A people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots." And finally, our own Kwame Nkrumah said, "A state in the grip of neocolonization is not master of its own destiny. It is this factor which makes neocolonialism such a serious threat to world peace and African development." Yesterday, you heard Professor Lumumba remind you that you are a chicken that was raised like an eagle. Now the moment has come. You've been given an opportunity to rise. You are an eagle. Rise up, get up and fly. We know it's going to be a tall order. We know the mountain is going to be high. Birds sing not because they can, they sing because they have a song. As Africans, let's come together and give the world the best melody the world has ever seen. The world that says, down with corruption, down with exploitation of Africa, down with imperialism, down with neocolonization. The mountain is high. Let's sing and go to the tallest mountain and let the world know who we are. The proud, the beautiful, the intelligent, sophisticated, highly adaptable, totally indestructible Africans.